we're going to move now into our final session, which is a little chat between myself and Rachael Snedecor, who was the ED for California or for Livermore Downtown Association, I can say that, for 21 years. And Rachael was the executive director and made immeasurable impact in Livermore, including earning a CAMS, and that is the highest status that you can get for our California or for all of our Main Street programs. And she served on the board of directors for many years. Rachael is a Main Street approach expert and passionate do-gooder with tenacious, genuine, and fun spirit. And she is what we call one of our downtown difference makers, and has done a lot for California Main Street, including having us to join National Main Street for the administration of our California program. So we have this little talk here, and I think we're ready to get started. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rachael. This is a wonderful opportunity to talk to you as you embark on a new career after serving Livermore Downtown for 21 years, I believe. Yes. So you did a lot of great work. You were a CAMS winner, so that is a top notch for one of our main streets. And over the 21 years, you implemented and oversaw very successful program. What would you say that you're most proud of, though?
I think the relationships that came from this, and just feeling like I played a part in getting people to work together, and not only finding relationships for myself, but hooking people up together and introducing people to each other that should be working together, that kind of thing. So I think, leaving my position in Livermore, what I think I'm most proud of is watching that it's going to be just fine without me, that we really made sure everybody was connected and things are going to keep going, and people are committed to that. So it was beyond me. It was about them and us. So I think I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, it's really about community. So yeah, it's not just us, it's what we can do for our community and our small businesses. So that's the real great work of our Main Streets. And so I know that you served on the California Main Street board, and that's when it was CAMS, California Main Street Alliance. And you've been a broker for the California Main Street to come under National Main Street. How did you first get involved with California Main Street anyway?
When I was hired as the executive director for Livermore, we still had the active state program. So Sacramento still had offices and multiple employees that were focused on really supporting all of our Main Street programs around the state. So when that was wiped out in the budget by Governor Davis, we will always remember him for that. There was a group of EDs that gathered in Fresno. I can remember it so clearly. It was at the Grizzly Stadium in Fresno, California, and started saying, what now? We're spending a lot of time going up and asking for them to put us back into the budget, really trying to do things, directly with them as EDs, but it became very obvious we needed a nonprofit, an alliance. That's why we called it the Alliance, to continue that fundraising and, that push to get the state to put us back into that priority listing within the budget. So that's how I got started way back in that meeting. And I think you really felt an overwhelming commitment by everybody there that this couldn't go away. We knew what kind of support we were getting, and we wanted to see that continue. So as things evolved, it became clear even through new governors. Well, hey, now we have Schwarzenegger. Of course, he'll put us back in. He's a smart guy. Well, he didn't either. So as new governors came in, it still just became struggle after struggle. So that became more and more important to have our CAMS group, supporting each other, helping each other, becoming our own advocacy amongst each other. And so I came on the board and off the board and on the board, it's kind of term out, come back kind of thing over the years. And then when I last came back on, that's when I think we had all hit the exhaustion level of trying to figure out how to get California to bring us back.
Yeah.
And it was like, we need to do something. We need to find a way to keep going, but not rely on state support, because it wasn't going to happen. And I think we were exhausted. So that's when it was time to talk to national and say, I know you don't want to lose us because we're pretty awesome out here in California.
Yeah.
But so how can you help us? So that's what started that conversation of, maybe this could be a national advocacy piece, that California is now managed by a national staff person. So like yourself.
Well, we thank you so much for that. And I think that it has really elevated the opportunity for our programs to get more involved with national and to really support each other. I think, throughout this pandemic, we've really been connecting with each other. The board has, been, reenacted and they're doing great work, and we have a new work plan, and so lots of good stuff that's happening because of you. So we can thank you for that. And as we move forward, what do you see on the horizon, and what are some of the things that you'd like to see California Main Street do for our programs and our members?
Well, one of the things that I always was having a struggle finding with him for my program was that direct support and advocacy for our businesses themselves based on industry. So, I was constantly researching to find, okay, who's the best restaurant consultant out there that can help us in our restaurant issues or our nighttime economy or retail. Who can come in and help my shops on retail issues that are happening. And so I think it's with COVID was kind of a gift in that a lot of people are consulting now, and people are so much more accessible to consult because of Zoom, because of we don't have to fly you out. We don't have to, put you up in a hotel. We can have you for an hour and a half from your own home. And so I think that's what I think is exciting post COVID, to not let this Zoom go on these different, formats, because it just opened the world up so much more for individuals at an affordable level. So I think that's what I hope to see continuing with Main Street. That's what in my business, that's what I plan on doing, is being specific to industries and being able to pull a collective of support in if that's what the issues are happening in a community.
So, as you embark on your new career, tell us a little bit about your company, and what are some of the transferable skills from your ED work as a Main Street leader that you're going to take into your new work?
Yeah, that one of the things that another thing to feel proud of that really formulated in Livermore is the ability to get government and business to work together and to kind of hear each other. And I think so often in communities there's such a disconnect, that governments haven't learned or haven't realized that the businesses are their customer, and there should be a lot of investment and support for the business community by the local government, because basically, let's get down to it, the taxes are what are paying salaries over at that city hall. And I think that's something I really hope to be able to bring into more communities, is that working on how to get people to communicate better, how to remove egos from certain political positions, and be able to say, what, you're right, I need these people. I should be really supportive and listening to them, so that we can have that pride of downtown, or pride of any part of your community.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be part of our outreach, is just helping if there is a disconnect between organizations and local government, being able to bridge that through collaboration, training, that kind of thing. But also in small businesses, we really want to be able to look at who's doing really well in this new world of retail. We are always so afraid of online. And that was the only enemy we thought was out there. But then we got to know this thing called COVID. So there are other enemies. But I think what COVID did was made people want to come back to brick and mortar. People missed, now when your only option was to shop online, you kind of started resenting that. No, I want to go touch something. I want to see it. I want to feel it. And so we're seeing, and retail across the country, when it's locally owned and it's operating as part of the community, people are wanting to come back. So businesses are opening at a record pace right now across the country when we thought that was never going to happen. So yeah, I think just being able to get in there and see what the root of problem, that's why it's called Roots Up Collective. We'll be digging down into the roots. The leaves are starting to fail. Maybe there's a reason. We need to see what's feeding those roots in your community or in your business or in your organization, so that we can get it all healthy again. So I'm excited about that. And that was always my fun. That was always I love doing this when working as an executive director in Livermore downtown, was being able to be one-on-one with the businesses, or going because of CAMS and going helping other communities, being able to be there for them for board training and that kind of thing. So I'm excited that that's going to be my full-time focus, even though I'll miss putting on that orange jacket and being out there at 2 a.m. to get ready for a festival.
Boy. So, we have a lot of new EDs that are coming into leadership now. And so what are some of the things that you might share with folks that you think you wish you had known before you, embarked into whole Main Street?
Do you have an hour for this? Because this is going to be, there's so much that you learn. That's the unique, piece, especially those of us that came in the early years of Main Street in California. It was so much to learn. And no one in your own community, your board especially, was there to teach you, because they didn't know. It's like, well, I know there's this Main Street thing and you're going to run it and this is going to be great. I wish I would have known early on how to be more prepared for different personalities amongst your constituents. Because that was kind of a wake up right away. You think, I'm here to help. Well, not everybody wants your help. And, it's like you had to really realize, oh, okay, you got this. How's that going for you? Because you don't look like you got this, but that's fine, and not to take it personally. I think that, small businesses, especially independent business, there's a reason we call them independent businesses. They're independent. They're independent thinkers. They're independent, their motivations are different. And so we just I wish I would have come in a little bit more prepared for some of that in the very beginning, then you don't get your feelings hurt as much when you finally realize this isn't about you being rejected. It's about they just want to do things a certain way. And if they're not on board, don't waste your energy on it. Love them, keep on going in and buying those products, but put your energy into people that want to move forward, because that's what attracts everyone else back too, is when they see those that are like, oh, well, they're involved and they seem to be doing better than me. So I wonder about that. We used to keep track when people would close and look back and say, how many of our programs did they take advantage of? And overwhelmingly, you would see, oh, they never did. They never were a partner. They never did any of those, events or any of those collaborations. So it always kind of kept us and the city motivated, knowing it must work, because the ones that fail are the ones not using the tools. So, you got to keep that in mind too, as a new ED. What you do is working. You don't always see it. You don't always hear it. But if they're there, something's working, because they're still in business.
And then the idea that you can't do it all. I mean, as a former ED, I think that was certainly something that I learned along the way. I first got in there and I thought, okay, I can do all of this. And I'm, really, you're trying to pull it all together and do it all, but really you can't. So you need partners, you need those relationships, and you need to find that work-life balance. So, how did you do that? And, what are some of the tips you might pass along? I know it's really difficult, but it's important.
And that doing it all, I think, so many of us go into these positions because we are independent workers. We know how to get things done. I mean, that's why we are attracted to these types of positions. So, in the beginning, it was really hard to ask for help. It's like, oh, wait, if I tell the board I need help on that, is that telling them that I don't know what I'm doing? Is that, no, that's not what you're telling them. They are there to be your support and to be your help. And so there were multiple times over the years that I ended up actually in tears with a board member or with a board president. So none of that was ever wrong. Yeah, that's actually, it's kind of endearing, I think, for boards to see, hey, you're going to be that vulnerable with us and that honest with us. We are truly supposed to be a team on this. So asking for help is not a sign of weakness in any way. Failing because you didn't ask for help is a weakness, and we have to really, embrace that. So sometimes, we're helping our boards grow as well when we're giving them an opportunity to help and to, have a voice on things or showcase some skills they didn't even know they had. And so I think over there, that became very important to me. Each time a board was in, I would kind of silently from behind the scenes watch and see what are our skills in each individual board member, and where can I tap into that and use the heck out of it. So that I have that support, because it's surprising. They all have different skills. You may think, well, I was hoping I would have more financially astute board members. Well, you may not, but what else can they be offering so that you can focus more time on the finances? So, I tease my board members a lot too, that they're temps because they have a certain amount of time they get to be there. We're not a temp. We're the permanent, they're the temps. So how can we get the most out of them in their, the time that they're going to spend with us, whether that's 3 years or 2 terms and it's 6 years? How do we really utilize that and make them feel needed? Because none of us wants to be bored on a board. I mean,
don't be bored on a board.
Yeah, don't be bored on a board. If you're on a board that's boring, not really utilizing your strengths, there's one out there that needs you. So we should be that one.
That was one of the ways that you were able to create that work-life balance, really allowing others to help you to do things, and not thinking that you have to do it all yourself. What were some of the other ways that you tried to
learning? Okay, and that's the hardest for all of us, is making yourself take the time off that you're supposed to take off.
Yeah.
And we get really buried into, haven't even completed project 1 and we're already sweating it out with project 2 when we haven't even closed this one. So, using comp time, whether I don't know what we're supposed to call that anymore, because I know there's debate on whether that's legal or not. But when you've worked way too many hours in a row, you are not going to be, it's this typical what they say to you, in the airplane, put the oxygen on you so you can help the person, the child next to you. Right. We need to make sure we're getting our oxygen and we're getting our downtime. And believe me, I'm acting like I had it all under control, and I did, vacations, still checking emails at the end of the day. We need to be telling our boards, I'm not checking emails every day. Right. I am not going to do that. If it's an emergency, number one, I don't put out fires, so you don't need to call me. But the other things can wait, and we need to feel safe and comfortable, saying that. That will bring back the balance. That's one of the things I'm excited about. I have grandkids now. I know you do too, and we need that time with them.
Absolutely.
It's not to be an old grandma. It's funny, people are like, "Oh, you'll get to be a grandma." I'm like, no, I get to be a kid. That's the fun part. I get to play again, when I'm with them. So that's all mental health. Make sure that you're not pushing your life aside because you're helping the lives of others. We're all really guilty with that one.
Absolutely.
We feel so needed, which is great. We are needed, but
we got to take care of ourselves. Yeah. We can't help anyone else if we.
Amanda, are you taking care of yourself too?
I am. I absolutely am. My granddaughter and grandson are wonderful. So I'm totally enjoying that fun play with them, as you said. So, what do you see as the wave of the future for our downtown leaders? And, what should they be paying attention to as they're trying to support these small businesses?
Yeah, just, especially coming out of COVID, things are changing. We talk a lot in our community, and I think this is what's even kind of motivating me in the direction I'm going with the new business, is that whatever went on before, especially things that we're wasting our time, we don't need just a to-do list. We need a stop doing list to look at everything going on within your community. You may have, historically, we've always done this for our businesses. Do the businesses want that? Are they finding that something else somewhere, with another organization, because they're not needing what we think they need anymore. And I think that's going to be the biggest part right now is new entrepreneurs are flying in, and they're coming in with a whole different attitude that I love. I mean, that's the thing that's the hardest. I'm watching these young new entrepreneurs coming in, and they work differently. They're teaching us how to work better. I mean, they will go ahead and close a store for 4 days to go have family time.
Yeah.
They're okay with saying their restaurant's not going to be open on Thanksgiving Day now, but we'll sure as heck do some meals for you to pick up in the morning to go have it at home with your family while we're at home with our family.
Right.
So a lot of things are changing. The social media aspect is not new, but I think it's bigger than ever because we are so much more, even though those who were not doing online, COVID put the older demographics right in there with the rest of them, because it was the only way to have any kind of interaction socially was through Facebook. That's how they were having to see their family. They were learning Zoom. So I think we need to really pay attention to how our brick and mortar is going to be continuing through virtual social connection as well. I'm trying to get better with my Instagram.
I know, me too. It's
a
lot to learn.
Yeah.
But
they'd already left me on Facebook. Yeah. But as far as new trends too, I think food and foodie and makers are the big deal right now. And so I think if your communities are not already looking at how to really showcase locally made, COVID brought a lot of people into the creative class again because they had time to test their talents and find something they loved. And I know, you're seeing cheese shops open up again. And it's interesting to me too, that as we're struggling for staffing across the board in every industry, that entry-level staff, that hospitality staff, the types of businesses that are attracting the most workforce at that level are the making ones. The lady that's making homemade salsa and tortillas and has her shop there, people want to work with her because they're learning a foodie technique. They're part of a making, experience, or the cheese guy or the brewery. We're seeing them find workforce because it's a little more fulfilling, I think.
Well, we could go on and on, but is there anything else that you'd like to leave with and share with our folks here that are listening today?
No, just, for those of you who are new, like I said, I know the frustrations can be there. I think finding your comrades, if you want to, maybe that's not good. No, not with Russia. Never mind. Take that back. Don't use the word comrade. Find your buddies in this industry that you can be, calling and emailing and venting with. When we would go to conferences, Amanda, I know, you and I would often spend time together. There are certain people I would seek out, like you or Gamaro or Rick, or Monterey Rick, when he was there, that you just knew, okay, that is going to give me some support. Just spending some time with them, laughing at dinner, or in our pajamas. I think we were a couple times, that's so important, build your team for you and your support too within your industry. And because it's mental health to me. I mean, our laughing moments, you want to I can do this, everything seems lighter now because we know every single one of us has duplicates of the same problems. That's what was always amazing to me. I think that the universe births these certain people and spreads them around so that we all have to experience it. And that, sometimes it's very difficult. But when you hear that it's not just you, we have someone putting us through that as well. It's just so much more empowering to keep going through. But there's a lot of fun. We talk a lot about the stress of our jobs, but I just have a flood of memories of just fantastic times. And so you're on a good journey, you newbies. Enjoy every minute of it. And those of you who are starting to think of aging out of it, that's not a bad thing either. I'm looking for a whole nother chapter, and it's given me a lot of skills to take with me.
That is wonderful. Well, we thank you so much for your service to California Main Street over the years and Livermore downtown. And we wish you the best, and we want to continue to build this relationship with Roots Collective, is that it?
Roots Up Collective. So we'll work it from the roots up and
Roots
get you
Up
back on track.
Collective. Yes,
Yeah, and I'll be
absolutely.
getting that, I'm taking 4 months off to do some
Uh-huh.
travel to see my kids, and one's in Texas, one's in London. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of traveling over the next 4 months.
Uh-huh.
And then, so I'll be coming out swinging with things up and ready in this summer 2022.
Excellent. Well,
So
we'll be looking for you.
you'll be hearing more.
Okay. Yeah, we always need an advocate. So I think we want to keep you in our corner. So thank you so much for everything and best of luck to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks,
you.
everybody. Hope you had a great week. I'm sure it was wonderful.